welcome back to Larry Talk, the podcast that may not be your favorite podcast, but nobody ever said you were our favorite viewer either. I'm your host, Henry King. How's it going, everybody? Happy Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Month. Everybody should know that Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Month is April. Although the media isn't going to tell you about it, I've been doing my part on TikTok, in case you've been following me, every day posting something about head and neck cancer and bashing the media while I tag Fox News, CNN, NBC, all that. Nothing really came out of it, but I'm helping other people, and that's what counts. So what I'm going to do this month, is every week for the next 3 weeks, I am going to interview laryngectomies, other laryngectomies. The one you're really going to know, probably, especially if you went and looked up at EL, Tony Talmadge. He's going to be my guest this week. In case anybody that don't know, go look him up. He does a bunch of stuff with the EL. He sings. He's a drummer. Does a lot of stuff with support groups and everything else. He's like a pioneer in the Larry world. And then the next interview is going to be with Steve Cooper, who is a board member of the Larry Speakeasy support group, which is going to be great because the whole thing is going to be about support groups and the importance of support group. In the meantime, we're going to get to know these guys' stories and how they got to where they're at. The final one is the one I'm really, really looking forward to just because we're friends. It's another laryngectomy named Rob that's on TikTok. You might know him as DJ Slacker. He does the same thing I do on TikTok. He posts funnies, he educates people. He does what he needs to do to raise the awareness. He also goes live a bunch of times on TikTok doing DJing, hence the name DJ Slacker. So it's going to be a great lineup, and hopefully you all tune in. It's going to be for the next 3 weeks, all of the month of April. And I'm really looking forward to it personally. I think this is going to be great. It's going to be nice to have another laryngectomy on the podcast. 2 of the 3 speak with using electrolarynx. 1 has a tap. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. But as for this week's episode, like I said, I'm going to be interviewing Tony Talmadge. Anybody that's a laryngectomy probably has heard of Tony Talmadge. My SLP has heard of Tony. So, like I said, he does. If you're from Florida, you're going to know him from the PSA that he did about anti-smoking. If you're looking for an EL online, he was the one that was promoting True Remote. He would sing with it. He sounds clear as day with it. It's amazing. And he does stuff with support groups and everything else around the country. He's a pioneer. He does a lot. He's probably the most famous laryngectomy in our world. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny because, like, within our world, he's famous. Within the world, not so much. And that's kind of how fame works. You're only famous within a certain group. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny. So I'm not going to really do much on this podcast. I'm just going to go straight into the interview because I feel that's what everybody's going to be tuning into. They don't really, do you really want to listen to my dumbass? No. So without further ado, let's just get right into this interview with Tony. All right. And Tony, welcome to Larry Talk. It's a pleasure to have you on here. You're actually like one of the famous Larrys.
Well, it certainly is a pleasure to be here. I mean, it was, I am humbled, you might say. So, yeah, thank you.
No problem. It's surely my pleasure. So let's just get right into it. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Colorado. I was actually born in Pueblo, Colorado, but raised in Colorado Springs. And yeah, that's Colorado for sure.
Right. I've always wanted to go to Colorado. I've heard great things. I got a friend who lives in Boulder. So, how old are you, and do you have any siblings?
Well, I'm going to be 66 this month on April 20th, and which is just really not too far away. I guess they say I'm so old now. I have one foot in the grave and the other one on a banana peel. So it's I'm hanging on to each day here. But
the back half.
Exactly. But anyway, now the second question was what?
Oh, if you have any siblings, any brothers or sisters?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I had 7 in my family. I was the baby, of the family actually, and out of the seven, there's three of us left. So I have two older sisters that are still in Colorado. I now reside in Connecticut, Sandy Hook to be exact. So,
Nice.
but like I said, I spent years and years in Florida. That's where I met my wife. So yeah, in fact, that's where I had my surgery. So
Nice. And my wife's from Florida as well. She's from the
yeah,
Daytona, yeah, Daytona area. The poor girl. So obviously you're married, but do you have any kids?
I do. I have two daughters. I have
Nice.
one daughter that lives just right outside of Nashville, and place called Mount Juliet, and I have another one in Colorado Springs. So yeah,
Nice. So what was your career before the cancer? And were you able to continue it after cancer?
I actually my my career was actually being a musician, professional musician. That I was one of the lucky ones, I suppose. I managed do to do my shows throughout my lifetime. You know, I was just constantly working on. I was on USO tours. I did work with all the major artists out there. Especially in the doo wop area because I was like in the I would do like a lot of the doo wop stuff with a lot of the major artists out there that this, and I still do every once in a while, and I'll still work with a lot of them. And as of right now, I'm still working. I'm still playing drums. I'm still doing shows as of today. So my career was definitely a professional musician. So I was like they say, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. So
Exactly.
I was really one of the lucky ones. So
And for anybody watching, listening, check out Tony's drumming. He's actually really good. He's got a bunch of videos on YouTube. Okay, and let's just get into the top five questions. These are the ones I'd like to do before, to break the ice before we get into the main topic.
oh
Uh,
no, you gotta break the ice, are you?
yeah, before we get into serious stuff, ask the important questions first, right? So Beatles or Elvis?
I'd go with Elvis.
Elvis. Let's see. Favorite band?
Well, I had so really, that's a tough question on the favorite band situation because I've worked with so many. So I mean, being a professional musician, I've worked with so many favorite bands, believe me, and it's I that's if I would actually literally come up with one, it'd probably be Chicago, maybe or Journey or something like that. So yeah, but
Right.
yeah,
Right. It's kind of funny. I've noticed that musicians have a really tough time with figuring out just one band. They usually are like, well, you got this
it, it,
person. Yeah.
it really is difficult, especially when you are a professional musician because you you play so as a cover musician you play so many incredible tunes from so many incredible bands, and it's just really difficult to just say have a favorite band. It's yeah, that's a tough one.
Right. My favorite band is like Nirvana, but that was from back then. Like if you were to ask me now, it's like it always changes. You know what I mean? Because music is always changing. So okay, let's see. Do you like a folk music festival or Austin city limits?
I would probably just go more with, not really crazy about either one, but if I were to choose, it will probably be the folk, simply because it's just, it's more of a easygoing stuff. I don't mind the country stuff, but it's not really my genre.
Right. And you notice I've kept this all music related since you're a musician. I figured why not? Okay, who do you think is a better drummer, Neil Peart or John Bonham?
That's also an impossible question, but I would probably say I wouldn't say the one is better than the other. But what I would say is the style of music. I would from what they do, I would lean more toward John Bonham.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate Neil Peart. I love the guy. He was just on unbelievable. I just didn't really care for for the Rush music that much. So
Right. I can remember watching the Live in Rio concert with Neil, and they had an overhead shot of him and his drum
yeah,
set for his
you
solo.
know,
And I thought my
he's
friend had fast forwarded. I was like,
no, he's non-human. I mean, the guy is just
yeah,
incredible. But as far as flavor and taste, it was and fitting into what into the music that they do. It just was so nice the way John Bonham flowed into his music and then what he did. Yeah, definitely John Bonham.
I read it. And is a bassist really needed? That's the big joke all the time,
No, no, no. For a drummer, a bass is needed. Yeah,
right?
definitely. No, you gotta, it's that bottom end, man. You gotta have that. You gotta have that bottom end in that, in that band. Without that rhythm section, like they say, your band is only as good as your bass player and drummer. So
Right. Right.
that,
I've
that,
always I've
that,
always
that,
laughed. I've
that is
always
the
laughed. Sorry, go ahead.
that is the foundation right there. So without a foundation, you don't have anything to build on. So there you go.
Right. I've always laughed at that people would joke about that because like one of my favorite parts in the song is always the bass line. Like I love a good bass line. That's why I got into punk music back in the day because the bass lines are unreal.
Actually, my genre back then was what I would really like to do, like in the '70s and early '80s. I was in a funk group and I played a lot of the old '70s and '80s funk. So I was, believe me, it's I did that for many years. I was on tour with three different funk groups that were just phenomenal. So yeah,
Right. Yeah, it's
absolutely.
just great. It's great fun. It's good music.
Yes, yes.
All right, so now we're going to get back into the tougher things here. When was your diagnosis and what was your symptoms before being diagnosed?
Well, uh, I was first diagnosed in 1990, and it was really ironic how it all came about simply because um, I never had any symptoms. The only literal symptom that I did have, I take that back. I had one symptom, but one symptom that I've had before, and that was laryngitis. I
Right,
laryngitis, you lose your voice, you wait a week, you rest your voice, it comes back, no problem, nothing serious, no pain, nothing involved. So there were no alarm bells going off anywhere. So I really wasn't that concerned. Well, a couple of weeks passes and I still don't have a voice. Wondering, wow, this one's really hanging on. It's not. This isn't right. So I woke up one morning and I literally couldn't breathe at all. I couldn't catch my breath, and rushed myself over to the ER and wouldn't you know it, they checked me out, and as soon as they got in there, they discovered that I had giant polyps in my vocal cords, very large, very large on all sides of the vocal cords. They were so large that they were blocking my windpipe, and I literally couldn't. I was having a problem breathing simply because of that fact. And so what they did was they removed the polyps immediately that same night, and they had sent them in for to get them tested at the University of Miami to get them the biopsy. So what happened was I had to wait. But the strange thing about that, once they removed those, I had my voice back immediately. I mean, and also I not only was a professional drummer, but I was also a vocalist as well. So I sang on a lot of, I did a lot of lead vocals in a lot of my shows, and my vocals came back to where I was able to hit notes to where I couldn't hit before, and I was like, thrilled. I said, "Wow, this is amazing." I was so happy. You have no idea. I couldn't believe how wonderful everything was after they removed those polyps. But oh, my wife's heading out. All right, and they're talking to you soon. You have your phone. All right, good. So anyway, so they have like I said, I was in those notes and everything was just great. But they gave me a call back, and the very next day, because they did have the results, and he said, I have some bad news. He said, it seems that you have cancer in your vocal cords, and we need to get a CAT scan to go in there and find out just how far this cancer has gone. And I was extremely disappointed. Well, I was in shock, actually, and I mean, it was like from an extreme high to an extreme low in less than
Like
24 hours.
somebody just pulled the rug out from under you.
Oh my God, it was ridiculous, And so I went in for a CAT scan, and as soon as I get the CAT scan, the doctor says, well, look, the results are, it seems that the cancer has gone into your lymph node. And at this particular point, he said, anytime a cancer goes into the lymph node, which we all know, which is a highway system through your body, once it gets into that, it can metastasize anywhere from the brain to the heart, to the liver, anywhere. It can go anywhere in just a very short matter of time. And he explained to me, he said, look, I don't know how far in the lymph node it is gone. And there's no way to find out until I actually get in there and see for myself. And I said, well, Doc, I said, what are my chances here? He says, I'm going to be honest with you. Once it gets to there, since I have no idea how far it is till I get in there, you have a 50-50 chance. Flat out. He just flat out told me 50-50. I mean,
Right.
No less than 48 hours before that, I was singing for joy, and then all of a sudden, I'm fighting for my life. Just died. And he said, look, he said, you have an option. He says you can go in, go have a second opinion if you want, but I, he said you have to be cautious on that second opinion because time is crucial here. You don't want to waste time, and he said you make the decision. It's up to you. And at that point, I'm a kind of individual, just who takes things, who takes the bull by the horn to say, okay, let's just deal with it. And I really didn't have too much time to think about it. I didn't want the second opinion, so I said, look, what I want you to do is I just want you to take this monster out of me, get it out of me, do what you have to do, figure it out. What is the prognosis after you do this? He said, well, what's going to happen? Because I'm really new to this. I have no idea. He says, you're going to have a deformity. You're going to have a deformity. And I said, what type of deformity? He said, well, if we have to go in and remove the vocal cords, then you're going to have what we call a stoma. And I had no idea what the hell a stoma was, all this stuff. And I said, what is this stoma? He said, well, it's a hole in your neck. It's where you're going to be breathing, and you'll have that for the remainder of your life. And I was freaking out. Come on, this was. You're talking about a lead vocalist who's going to lose his voice, and I didn't have time to,
I don't think anybody ever got a stoma and was like, all right.
No, exactly. I'm kind of like preaching to the choir, but you just deal with it. And I said, look, whatever it takes. At that point, I said, look, lose my voice or lose my life. And come on, it's as simple as that. I said, look, how soon can we get in there? How soon can you get this thing out of me? he scheduled an emergency surgery from time from diagnosis to time that I was actually on the table getting my vocal cords removed was probably a little over 36 hours.
Damn, yeah, that is quick.
Now that's quick.
Yeah,
Now
that's good.
yes.
I was kind of dumb with mine because I didn't want to accept it at first. You know what I mean? And I literally put it off for like a month. And then by the time I was like, all right, I need to do this because I was about to die, you know. So yeah, that's quick.
No. Me, I don't waste time. You know, once I knew the scenario of it, but either my voice or my life, I'm gonna get rid of my voice. I want to keep my life. Okay,
Right.
this was it, and so
Yeah.
what I did
My
was
my problem is I think I was in denial. You know what I mean? Like the guy that went to college, got a PhD, don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
well, like they say, denial is just not another river in Egypt. So yeah,
right,
it's
right,
that. So, but I wasn't in denial. I knew this. I looked at this guy's credentials. He was top notch surgeon. And I my life was literally in his hands. So I believed everything he said, and once once I got it all done, it was just it was literally the best thing that I could do for myself, and
right.
I just progressed after that.
Nice. Well, that brings me to my next question. Where was your procedure done, and how long was your recovery for it?
Well, my procedure done. I was living in Fort Lauderdale at the time, and my procedure was done at the Florida Medical Center. Florida Medical Center, and my surgeon had a really strange name. His name was actually Dr. Walter Finger, Finger. Finger. I mean, yeah.
That's
One
funny.
of the names, right? Walter Finger. But that he was an absolute genius. I mean, he was literally absolutely unbelievable. So anyway, that's what it was. It was just um, he did it, and that was a like I said, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and the recovery time was I was in there for about a week and a half. Really wasn't that bad. So
On the average.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and I was out of there. So yeah, but now keep in mind though, back in 1990, when I had my surgery, I didn't have the luxury of having an SLP, which was
Right.
a speech language pathologist. So every time I do an abbreviation, I like to specify what that abbreviation is: SLP, speech language pathologist. And
Right.
so yeah, exactly. And I had to write everything down. I just went from totally being speechless, and that was it. But I was alive, and that's all that mattered. And I figured I could deal with it. So that was it.
Yeah, the body can overcome a lot of things, man. You just got to be alive to do it. You know? Okay. Did you have any depression? And if so, how did you overcome it?
You know what? I know you're not going to believe this, but no, no depression whatsoever,
None whatsoever.
none whatsoever. I was so glad to be alive.
Right. Right.
Okay, and just like you said, the body will overcome whatever it has to come. And I knew from that point on, my life has changed, but I must move forward, and that was
Right.
what I chose to do. I'm not going to put a pity party on myself. It's I didn't say, oh my God, why me? I mean, why not me? You know, could have been
Right.
anybody. It just happened to be me. So it is what it is, and and what was strange about this whole thing is I never smoked a day in my life, and I still got throat cancer simply
Yeah.
due to secondhand smoke. So
See,
Yeah,
I'm
breathe,
glad
breathe.
I'm glad you bring that up because I do a lot of TikTok, and everybody that's younger on the generation of TikTok, they've all grown up to the truth social. You know what I mean? So all they use is the laryngectomy as a scare tactic for smoking, which I get. But at the same time, that's the only thing they know now. Do you know what I mean? So like they see me and they're like, "Oh, that's what you get for smoking." And it's like it wasn't from smoking. Not it's not always from smoking.
Well, see, back in the day, they didn't have those rules. The smoking rules in
Right,
nightclubs and bars and in restaurants, and everybody was smoking in these places, and they had no rules. And
right.
being a professional musician, I would like do it. I was working these NCO clubs, officers clubs. I was doing red clubs all on. I mean, I was on
Yeah,
tour. I mean, I was doing 6, 7 nights a week back then. I mean, I was literally working a lot, and
right.
and and my environment was breathing in secondhand smoke every single night for hours and hours and hours. Sometimes the smoke was so bad that I, being on stage, couldn't even find the bathroom where it was. And of course, where the drummer is, I was always on a pedestal, and where the smoke
Yep,
rises, and I
yep,
always got the worst of everything. And so yeah, it was
yep.
just a matter of secondhand smoke finally getting the best of me. So I got the best, and I just had to deal with it. So,
Right.
but no,
I don't think
no regret.
the newer generation would understand what bars were like back in the day, especially like little small dive bars. Like they would just be smoke filled no matter where you were. And I can remember when they put the smoking ban, people were like, "Well, that's a bar, blah blah blah." I'm like, "It's probably the reason why you should. They're all small, man." Like,
Right, exactly. And I had to make matters worse. I mean, I grew up in a smoking environment because all my siblings and parents and everything, they all smoked.
right,
Everybody's in my family, and back, and I never did. So I was the baby, and I was probably already affected by growing up in that environment because everybody would smoke in the house, and it was just no matter what you did, you just couldn't escape it. It's just something you grew up with.
right. Yeah, yeah. And with you playing in the bar, you pretty much were smoking without trying. So
Exactly. Yep.
okay. So you kind of answered this, but how were you communicating in the beginning, and how long were you until you were able to use the electromagnetics?
Well, what was really cool about this was that my doctor, after he cleared me to actually attempt to try to get a voice, he had sent me to this place that was called the New Voice Club of Fort Lauderdale. And like I said, there weren't any SLVs to go to. So I decided to go to a club where other laryngectomies were and learn from them. So as soon as I got there, they had supplied me with a an EL or an AL, depending on how you choose to say it, which means electrolarynx, and that's what this device is here. So, but the one that they supplied me with was called a Servox, and I'm not sure if anyone knows what a Servox is. It's an EL but it's like a silverish color one. And it has two buttons on it, and you have like two different little pitches where it goes that kind of thing. But it's very monotone and very robotic.
Like the early
But
stages of them, pretty much,
right,
right?
but
Yeah.
but 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 when I applied it to my neck for the first time, and I said my first words, like he said, try it and say, hello, how are you? I went up there and it sounded like, hello, how are you? It's so good to see you. I heard a voice, and I said, well, it's different, but at least I'm not writing anything down. I don't care if it's robotic or not. I have a voice, and I was thrilled. So
Right.
yeah, exactly. So uh, and uh, and the state of Florida, of course, during that point, they had issued me a free one, so I had gotten the Zerlogs, and I had that, and I sounded just like this. That's what it sounded like, and I was very thankful to have it. Believe me, I absolutely loved having a voice again, even though it sounded like this. But you still understand this is what it sounded like, and that was it. And yeah, I mean, what an incredible device it was for me because I was speaking again, and and I was still being able to be heard over the phone. Although I got hung up a lot because everybody thought it was a prank call, but because of the robotic sound, but it's just something I had to deal with, and I had it for 13 years, and I was thankful to have it. Believe me, it gave me a voice, and I went into to one of the meetings one day, and the president of the club, he said, "Tony, we have this new device." He said, "I want you to try it." And this happened to be the True Tone. So he put it in my hand. I said, "Well," and I pushed down on it, and all of a sudden I noticed it had a pitch change, a real pitch change. I said, "Oh, this really gonna be different." So and and I tried it, and I spoke to my wife. She was with me. I said, "Wow, how does this sound?" And I had intonation for the first time. I had human emotion for the first time. I had, you might say, it was something that I hadn't felt since my surgery, and it was going on 14 years. And it literally, I was in absolute pure EL11. I was saying, this is incredible. I mean, listen to this. I have intonation. I can actually speak with intonation and emotion. I can you can see the emotion in my body language, and you can hear the emotion in my voice. And my wife, she was just like tearing up, just like, whoa, this was a life changer. And that was the good news. The bad news for them was that they had to pry it off my fingers, because I didn't want to give it back. I mean, literally, I was just that, and it was just a loner, but and from that day forward, I would just I like I said, it was just it changed my life, and I got one immediately. I had one sent to me, and the ironic part about this story is, after I had gotten it, I really mastered it pretty good. And Cliff Griffin, he was the inventor of the True Tone, which was, of course, from Griffin Laboratories back then. His brother was scheduled to come and visit our club about a week after I was introduced to this. And he heard someone's, when he got there, he heard me speaking with it, and his jaw hit the floor. He could not believe what he was hearing. So when he gets back to California and talking to his brother Cliff, he said, you need to call this guy. You need to talk to him. So I get a call from Cliff, and Cliff, Cliff says, "Look, I need to speak with Tony Talmadge." And I said, "Well, you're speaking with Tony." He said, "No, no, no, I need to speak with the one who's actually using the True Tone device." I said, "You're speaking with him." I mean, literally, yeah. I mean, that's how clear it sounds over the phone, because he had no idea that device that he actually created was the one that he was hearing over the phone. And
Right.
so from that point on, it was pretty much a marriage between myself and Griffin Laboratories, and I became their spokesperson for the next 18 years after that. So
Right.
yeah, and
Right.
until of course Atos, they bought Griffin out, and when Atos bought Griffin out, they said, "Hey, look, don't Tony comes with the deal." So now that's it. So now that's how I ended up as an ambassador right now for Atos.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey guys, we're just going to take a little break here and endorse one of our friends like we normally do. As you know, Aaron Wayne has wrote not one, but two books. The first book being The Silent Partner in My First Year as a Laryngectomy. He talks about it being his first year becoming a laryngectomy. It's a good read. It's a fun read. It's an easy read. No, it's not filled with a bunch of medical stuff like that. It's his view on what he went through, stories. Then you got his second book, The Silent Night. This is more of a journal of pretty much a second year of being a laryngectomy. I'm hoping he continues these. They're easy reads and they're fun to read. And again, not filled with a bunch of scientific mumbo jumbo stuff that's going to confuse you. You got to go Google things. You just read his side of what it was becoming a laryngectomy. And if you're nice, he might actually send you some stickers that he makes for decorating your HME. The one I'm wearing today is the rainbow one, and it says, I support my friends because I do. And I just wanted to see how many of you cancel me now. Treat me like a Bud Light. Anyway, if you order these books, the first one, The Silent Partner, is a free book. This one you're actually going to have to pay for on Amazon, which isn't much. As far as the stickers, he usually sends them to you for free. So contact Aaron Wade at the email below, and hopefully he can hook you up. Okay, so people in Florida may recognize you from the anti-smoking ad when you sing a song, which is a great song, by the way. How did that come about? Did they reach out to you? You reach out to them?
They reached out to me. That all came as a surprise. Actually, I'm just going on my regular day, wake up, have my breakfast, check my email, and I get this random email saying that I have a message from YouTube. Okay, and message says that they saw my singing videos and asked me if I would be interested in doing their ad. And I thought it was a scam at first. You always have very suspicious about stuff like that. And they gave me a number to call, so I didn't really call. So I went with a text. So they actually had a text number. I texted back and forth, and finally got to the point to where I figured, okay, they kind of sound like they could be legit. So ended up doing a FaceTime with them, and next thing you know, actually it really wasn't a FaceTime. It was more like a messenger kind of a thing. But anyway, we ended up talking, and they said, look, we'd like you to fly you and your spouse out to Miami, Florida, and would you be interested in doing our song for this particular ad? And I said, hey, I'm not doing anything. I'm retired. Let's say, sure. So what the heck? Let's just do it. So they sent out all the information. They booked the flights. I mean, it was a red carpet all the way. I mean, that first class. They flew us out first class. It was great, and flew into Miami. And as we're leaving the gates, they had this the driver there with my name on it, waiting for me, and they take my wife and I to the limo. They drive us straight to the hotel, and where they were waiting for me, and we went through all the information like that, and it was really, I literally felt like a celebrity at that point. It was really totally unexpected, driving on limousines, and the camera crew was there too. I mean, it was like I was there for literally 4 days doing this thing, and during the 4 days, I had a camera crew following me everywhere I went, and I used to do a show with David Moran, which is he's the number one Elvis impersonator as well. I don't know if you saw that on YouTube as well, but I just recently posted that on my page on Facebook again. But I work with him a lot. He was on. Yeah, he was with me during this ordeal that we were doing, and it was just great because they wanted me to have a really close friend with me, and so wherever we went, we had camera crews following us everywhere, and they were in the sense just getting a biography of me and stuff like that. It was great. It was really really cool, and the song that you heard me sing, literally, I had to learn it. They gave me one night in the hotel to go over the song, learn it, and yeah, I was in the studio, Criteria Studios, the very next day, and I'm sure you've heard of Criteria. They're the number one recording studio, in Florida. Many major albums were done in that studio from major artists, and so I walk in there, and they put me behind the mic, and lo and behold, it only took 2 takes. That
Nice.
it only took 2 takes. I did that entire song in 2 takes,
Tony
and
Talmadge, the true professional, everybody.
yeah. I mean, it was just really pretty ironic how that all worked out. But yeah, it was quite an experience, and it turned out a lot better than I expected that it was going to be because they wanted me to do to incorporate my drums in this vid in this video as well. And I have some really really good friends in Resurrection Drums in, of course, in South Florida there, and I've been friends with them for many years, just going, using them and going to their store and stuff like that. So it was great that they were also in there. They show a photo of the rock group that I was actually in way back then, and my hair was really really long. I don't know if you saw that, but
Yeah, I did. I did.
yeah,
You were
yeah,
a good looking guy back then, man. What can I say?
that back then. I mean, my hair was like down below my shoulders, and it was the old rock thing back then, and
Right.
I was on US tour with that group, and we were just traveling and just having a really really great time back there. So it's just it's just reminiscing, but yeah, they did very well, and that's how that all came about. So yeah.
Nice. And it's a good song too. I actually find it catchy. Like I was like, that's a good one. Toe Tapper.
Yeah, exactly. So if you get a chance, anybody out there, just go to Tony Talmadge on YouTube and look up Tobacco Free Florida ad, and there you have it. So yeah,
What's really great is like when I was looking for what kind of EL I was going to use, the first thing that pops up is you. And yesterday, when I was telling my SLP that I was going to interview you today, he knew who you were. He uses your videos to show other Larrys, this is what it's going to be like. This is what it can be like, if you just practice and everything goes right. So I'm sure everybody's seen the video for you because, like, everybody knows Tony.
I just got another email not too long ago because I'm going to be going to the IAL this year, which is the International Association of Laryngectomies, which is going to be in St. Louis this year. So it's the granddaddy of all as far as laryngectomies and speech pathologists and doctors and so forth. These people come from around the world for this particular event because it's not only the IAL, it's also the Web Whispers event as well. So it's a big deal, and I go to these every single year in every place, and they have them in a different city every year. So last year it was in Charlotte, and this year it's in St. Louis, and it's going to be taking place next month on the 10th. So I get an email from them asking me if I would sing the national anthem for them in the opening ceremonies. And
That's awesome.
I said, how can I say no to that?
Right?
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So so I'll actually be singing the national anthem during the opening ceremonies at the IAL. So yeah.
right? I'm not going to be able to go this year because of funding, but I'm hoping next year I'm able to do a live podcast from there. I think that would be kind of cool. Not only that, just I just want to go anyway. But
Just between you and I, there's a rumor has it. I'm not saying it, but it's possible. Yeah, you never know. It's could possibly be in California next year. We're
right,
keeping
right,
our
right,
breath, but nothing is ever confirmed until the
right.
IAL confirms it. So there you have it.
All right. Where were we here? Okay, so what are you thinking of the other ways that other laryngectomies can help raise awareness, even if they don't have the same platform as say you or I do?
Can they raise awareness is simply by joining all the laryngectomies in support groups, and Zooms, regular if they have a new voice club within their vicinity. They What I like to do is I like to do I like to go to hospitals and ask them if if they need my services in any way, shape, or form as far as new laryngectomies coming out. I give them my information. They can contact me and to get a heads up on what to expect, on what and I kind of uh, go over everything with them if they're willing to talk to me, especially new laryngectomies who are not laryngectomies yet and are getting ready to go through the process. It's very important for them to actually know what to expect, and the best way to do that is to contact someone who's already been through it. So yeah, get your name and number out there, and do the best you can to, what I say, pay it forward. And that's one thing I've learned to do since I've been a laryngectomy, and it's literally changed my life, was just to pay it forward. Try to, that when I go to these IAL meetings, or even during via Zoom, whatever it is, I make sure that when somebody comes in without a voice, I'll do everything I can to make sure they leave with one. So that's it.
Right. I can't agree more with you, man. Because when I was debating on mine, if it wasn't for the fact that I found Larry Speakeasy on Facebook, I don't know what would happen. You know what I mean? It took me talking to other Larrys to be like, all right, it's not going to be that bad. I'm going to live. It could always be worse. So I agree totally with that. Definitely talking to other Larrys is the best way to go. And I've done the same thing at my hospital. If you have other Larrys that or people that are about to go through it and they need to talk to somebody, feel free to contact me. I have no problem with open. Let's see. So you do a lot of work with support groups in different areas of the country. How important is it being in a support group, and how important are the online support groups? I mean, we kind of went over this just now, but
Like I said, it's extremely important. The reason why is they cover every angle of every form of speech. Not everybody speaks through an EL.
right,
Some people speak through the way you speak, of course,
right.
through a TEP,
And then you
and
have the esophageal, and
right, and
yeah,
then of course, and sometimes they talk like this. So, which is also esophageal speech.
that was pretty
Now,
impressive, actually,
well, that's
right?
second form of speech, and I talk like this, like this. So there you go. It's learning and teaching. It's being a part of it opens up doors in ways to where it gives you options. The more options you have, everybody's different. So not everybody's going to sound the same. You have to you have to weigh these options and see what works best for you. But before you weigh these options, you need to know what they are, and in order for that to happen, you need to be involved. So this is why these support groups are so important, and these zooms, these zooms within these clubs are very important because they cover all this, and it's and even the medical part of it, out and down to change your TV, who to go to, where to go to. It's they cover everything, and it's knowledge, and knowing is going to make you feel a lot more comfortable about yourself, and the more you know, the more you can the more you can pay it forward to someone else. So that's how it works. Just it's a chain reaction.
Right? Like I tell everybody, like you can get so much information from a doctor, but it's going to be the medical side of it. You know what I mean? You need that personal. This is what I went through, and then compare it to other people and do your average, that kind of thing. But the medical can only tell you so much. They can't give you the first-hand experience. We're talking to somebody like you or I, we can tell you what we experienced. You might not experience that, but at least you know. All right. Okay, so how can somebody go about joining a support group or even starting one in their area?
As far as starting one, I wouldn't have that information. You would have to actually go to a support group and get the information from them. Locate it. Now, there are you can find these support groups by going to the Web Whisperers or the IAL. IAL has all the information on where these support groups are located, and also, if I remember right, if you're looking like for SLPs, I believe the ASHA website also has locations of all SLBs around the country and where they're located as well. But it's just, like I said, it's getting off Facebook. Go ask questions. Go on the laryngectomy sites. Like you said, laryngectomy speakeasy. They have all the answers. You go to laryngectomy support. You go to all these laryngectomy sites on Facebook. Ask questions. They will give you the answers, and that's the best advice that I can give you, because I don't have my own support group where I'm located right now. They don't have one, so I do all mine via Zoom, or like I said, or I'll travel to a conference, and I'll go ahead and do one there. But yeah, that's it.
Right? Yeah, I highly recommend anybody to be in a support group, even if you're just not looking for anything. As long as you can help somebody else out too. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. They're great. What's some of the advice that you give people that may be facing a laryngectomy?
Well, just if you're gonna if you have to face it, it's always better to be alive than the alternative. So if they say you're going to need one, the best advice that I can give to you is, if they if the how can I say this? It's like I said, I'm not a doctor, but this is just my own personal opinion and advice. Is, if it's inevitable that you're going to get one and you have to get one, and they give you an option to do radiation first, avoid the radiation. Get the laryngectomy done, simply because of the fact is you want the laryngectomy operation to be successful, and in order for that to be successful, the chances of it to being successful is to get it through healthy tissue.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the radiation damages things.
Right. The radiation will turn your tissue into mush, and it makes things extremely difficult, and it's a longer healing process, a much longer healing process, and they have to deal with having to go through damaged tissue on top of what they normally have to do just in order to remove your voice. So
Right.
I would suggest to just keep that healthy tissue, get it done correctly, and then afterwards, then do the radiation to make sure that there are no like I said, no cells left. So you'll want to make sure that the radiation, like the doctor, when he finished me up, he said, "Look," he said, told me, "I'm so positive I got all of it. All the cancer is gone. I'm so positive. I'm going to leave the radiation treatment up to you. Now you can have it if you wanted. You do. It's up to you." And I
Right.
figured to myself, I said, "Look, I've already been through this. I'm not taking a chance because I mean, all it takes is one little tiny cell to escape into a surgical bed, and then you have a whole bunch of problems after that." So
Yeah.
it was a no brainer for me. I said, "No, schedule me and 6 weeks of radiation after that. Done. I wanted whatever caused this to be gone and dead. I didn't want to have this. I didn't want to have to think twice about it. I didn't want to have to say what if. I wanted it to be gone, and I wanted to be sure. So I don't know about anybody else, but I like a sure thing. So that's
Right.
it.
Right.
That's it. And this was back in 1990, and look, here I am. I'm still doing
Right.
interviews. So there
And
you have it.
and and technology has come a long way since you had your laryngectomy too. You know what I mean?
Right. So there's I can't stress that enough. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. But it's just my own personal opinion on making sure that if you have to get it done, make sure it's done through healthy tissue.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
it,
my doctor was such a stickler that he actually made me wait a year after the surgery to get my TB. Like I had to go through the radiation and chemo, and then he wanted that to heal, and then
absolutely,
go in.
absolutely, that's a good doctor.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Now,
Fontana. I had him on. I think it's episode 8. I had him on the show. He's a stickler for that kind of stuff. It's by the book. And like when after he did his surgery, he's like, "I'm 99% sure I got it, but I still want you to do the chemo and radio just in case." He's like, "I can't see on a microscopic level, if there's anything left." So I followed his advice. I mean, and look at me now, doing great.
do what the doctor says, but even though you have to do what the doctor says, you still have to make the right choice for
Exactly.
yourself. And
Exactly.
and you're the one that needs to make that choice, because if you choose to do the radiation, they're going to give you the radiation. So that's there you have it.
Right. And if you're already having trouble breathing, the radiation is just going to make that a lot worse, like and swallowing and all that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Radiation sucked, but I'm glad I did it.
Me too. As a matter of fact, I still have burn marks. It looks like my neck is dirty, and after all these years,
Yep. Yep. I still, like,
yeah,
I had mine 3 years ago, and from
yeah.
here down doesn't grow hair, which makes it great for shaving. I'm not
Oh,
complaining.
isn't that great? I mean, if I grow a beard, I have a perfect line down here. It's like no,
Yep.
that there's
Yep. You
there,
ain't got to worry about trimming it or nothing, man.
yes. So that was a big plus. So it's all good. One thing good came out of that is got rid of the neck hair,
Oh,
and
yeah.
also got rid of my double chin. So it's all good.
Right. Mine's always been kind of hidden, but yeah. Okay. So you're a pro with the EL. So, what are some of the tips and advice for those that are struggling to use the
Well, it depends on what EL they're using. But the number one tip is finding that sweet spot. Okay. Now, like I said, you really, really need to get the doctor's approval on this first, because because lymphedema, it still could be, you could still have a lot of swelling in there going like this. Now, if you can hold on a second, I'm going to give you a couple of tips really quick. Okay, here we go. let me go ahead and grab my bag here. Hold on.
Okay.
So what sometimes what I'll do is I will go in and I will actually see somebody right after surgery. They'll ask me to go in to talk to them right after surgery. And this is what I teach SLPs as well, because it's very important. What I like is instant gratification. Obviously, when somebody just gets out of surgery, they're not going to be able to talk. They're going to have swelling, they're going to be in shock. They're not going to know what hit them. It's just a natural human reaction to just wake up groggy and scared. And so and if you can't communicate, that adds on to your anxiety, and it's just you really want to find a way to try to calm these people down who have just been through the procedure. So, and the best way to do that is finding a way to communicate. And what I'll do is, I don't know if anybody else knows what this is. Let me see if I can just get rid of this background here so I can get a regular background. There you go. This is what you call.
Oh, that goes on top of the electrolytics.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called what they call, it's an adapter. Okay. What you want to do is, normally they'll have a straw that comes right inside that hole. It's called an oral adapter, and goes into your mouth. So the last thing they want to do is have something in their mouth when they try to chew and they try to speak, because it's still a little swell. But yet you still want to be able to understand, depending if you can get any kind of voice. And then, of course, obviously, if somebody had tongue surgery, that's going to be even more difficult.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so so if they don't, and it's just a way of, if they have a way to communicate, what I'll do is I'll put this right on top. Just like that.
Right. Right. And for people that don't know, it's kind of like Peter Frampton.
Yes,
The
yes.
device that he used in his mouth to play the
Yes.
guitar.
Now, what I'll do is, in order to do this particular way of doing this, you have to make sure the volume on the EL is completely turned down to where you can barely hear it, but yet it's, you can still hear it, but then the volume needs to be turned down, and this is what you do. Once it's there, then what you need to do is you put it right near your mouth, right in between, and you say, "Hello, how are you?"
So you're using it without the straws.
Right.
Nice.
So that your ears here, or on this side. Sometimes it's right there, and then once they have that, they have the themselves.
See, I wish I would have known about that when I had my surgery, because they took out my teeth beforehand, so I didn't have any teeth to grip the straw.
Right. And you don't have a straw in your mouth or anything like that. Or sometimes you don't even need this, depending on the situation. Sometimes, I like using this because you can turn the volume down on it. But if you don't have one of these, you can still turn the volume down on the EL and still put it toward the lip area and still be able to talk like this. Just like that. So it's still right, but you can still hear a voice.
Right.
And it just right in the area. So that way. So that way they, like I said, it's the gratification. It's knowing that they can communicate. You can find out what it is you can do for them, and they can actually be able to tell you.
Right.
So,
Right.
so absolutely, that's it's 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 a really good way of learning what to do with the with someone who hasn't tried to speak it and try to get them to communicate. Now, once the swelling has gone down, what I make sure is that you take your thumb. Okay, this is how I get everybody to speak, and I really really hope people understand and take this to note. And my secret is all you need is a quarter of your thumb right there, just a little tiny bit. That's the size of this.
Right. Size of the circumference of the EL.
Yeah, the size of the circumference. That's all you need. And what you're going to do is you're going to press up underneath the chin area, and you're going to locate the softest spot available. I mean, you really need the low press. You're gonna need to press up in there, and you have to search every part of underneath your chin, as far back as you can go, far up, wherever it is. A lot of people have scar tissue, and it's very very leathery down there, so it's gonna take time for that to go away. But with massaging, you can still worry. You'll still be able to work a way of getting a soft spot that you need. One little tiny, they call it a sweet spot. That sweet spot, you can find that sweet spot. You push up there, and if it feels uncomfortable, you're not ready yet. But if it's there, you have a goal. Then you just then you keep testing that spot until you do feel comfortable with it. And when you can press up in there and find that spot, and you don't feel any discomfort, then you take the device, you apply it to that spot, and the more pressure you can apply, the better voice you are going to achieve. So it's like, it's like if I don't apply pressure on this, you're going to get a lot of bugs. But as you can see, I'm applying plenty of pressure, just enough to where I'm still very comfortable to get a very clear voice. The more pressure you can apply, the better voice you're going to achieve. Now, I have scar tissue on my left side, and this is the difference. So when I go there, there you have it. See, it's not gonna, you can still understand a lot of legit, a lot of laws. But now you go to that sweet spot, and there you have it. Once you find that sweet spot, well, I like to get a little tiny Sharpie and put an X on there. You go in front of a mirror and go back and forth. And before you know it, it's called muscle memory. And you don't even have to think twice about it. You'll know exactly where that spot is, but just by going there every single time and applying
Right.
and then you're going to have your voice.
Right. And it'll be quick too. That's the odd
Exactly.
thing.
And sometimes if the swelling goes down here quicker than it does on underneath the chin area, sometimes you'll have success going directly into the cheek. Just like that. So it's going like that. And so in between your toes, and still be able to talk. So there are so many different options that you can use in order to be able to get voice. But and these are just some of them that I'm going over with you to try to help you along as far as getting voice until you can thoroughly get better and heal properly. But the best way of doing it is finally getting a nice little spot up underneath the chin area. That is the ultimate. If you're gonna achieve that, then you're good to go.
And I think the key is to be patient. It's
No, well, like I said, you have to be positive and you have to be patient. That's it. Be positive,
right.
be patient. So, that's it. That's how it
Right.
works. What
Practice,
are the
practice.
choices? What are
I
the
know
choices?
You know, I remember when I was using my EL for the first time, I would just look around the room, naming off random things, singing songs, doing my ABCs, whatever I had to do to practice. So, Tony, that was actually the final question I actually had for you. Um, when you finally leave the earth, hopefully it's not soon. What do you want people to remember you most by?
Well, by being a very positive person, uh, being known as someone who's always wanted to help others, being someone who is always supported others and to teach others. And most of all, I was like to be remembered as just being able to try to make as many people as happy as I possibly could. And with no matter what I did through my music, you know, through what I do as far as the Larry community, and just and I don't know if you know this or not, but I also ride a trike, so I ride with several groups. So I mean, I do a lot of bike rides all the time, and it's just something that enlightens me. It's what I enjoy. And so I have friends in the biker community, in the Larry community, in the music community, and these are things that I pretty much hope that I would be remembered as being a very positive person and one that likes to share my time with others. And that's really just about it. And of course, being a good father and a good husband, which is most important of anything. So there you go.
Well, I think you're on track. You're on a good path. So that's all we have for today, man. I want to thank you for joining me on Larry Talk. And thank you for doing what you do. And thank you for helping me find the EL that I wanted. So,
Well, now a pleasure all mine, my friend. I'm very humbled that you chose me to do the interview. And what can I say? It's you know, yeah, Larry on, baby, Larry on.
Larry
Yeah.
on, man. And hopefully I can have you on again sometime in the future, too.
Actually, every time I go to these conventions, and I introduce myself to all Larry's, Larry's have a way of introducing themselves to them. So I say, "Hello, I'm Larry." He says, "Glad to meet you. I'm Larry too." So everybody's Larry over there. So it's a little funny thing that we do.
My brother Larry, my other brother Larry.
Exactly, we're all Larrys. All
All
right.
right, Tony.
Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate this.
No problem. Thank you. And you have a great day, man.
I will. You too.
What a great interview, right? And there's no way I can really top that. So I might as well just end it here. So if you want to reach out to us or you want to view us outside of this platform, you can find me on TikTok. You just look up Larry Talk. You can contact us on Facebook at the Larry Talk page or Larry World, or you can email us. You can always check out the website, LarryTalk.com. If you go to our help and support section in the area, you can find actual help and support in your area or online. So with that said, hopefully you guys had a good one. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview as much as I did. Until next time, take care of yourselves and have a good one.